everyone. Welcome to Little Miss Recap. My name is Amy Archer.
I am Amanda.
We had to restart, guys, because we started and my daughter started texting me and then it was all screwed up. So
And it was about very important things like lunch.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we're back. So Amanda, how are you this morning?
Oh, living the dream. How are you?
I'm okay. I again this morning got up, read 2 chapters of my book,
Okay.
had my
Okay.
coffee. I'm really enjoying it. The thing that worries me though, and this is a me problem,
Okay.
is Arlo likes to lay at my feet.
Okay.
And I have my hot coffee on one of those little tables that come over the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And my dogs, if anybody lives with barking dogs, you understand what I'm talking about. They
Yeah.
spring to action
Mm-hmm.
27 times a day
Sure.
over
I,
anything. A
I've
bird
heard it
flap.
myself.
Yes. So I'm so afraid he's going to spring to life and dump my coffee all over me. So I have to come up with some different type of setting
I have a solution for you. Get an insulated coffee cup with a top.
like this one.
Exactly like that one.
Okay, but I'm weird because I like my coffee out of a mug when I'm reading in the morning.
I can only help you so much right now. I only have so many
I know.
many
I know.
brain things for
I
helping
know.
little things. That is a solution. It's just not one you care for.
I know.
No.
Are you excited about Handmaid's Tale today?
I am. I am. I might need to watch it before Todd does because I might just need to watch it. Though maybe he'll have a break today and he can watch it. We'll see.
Yeah, I really need to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm mostly because I'm just afraid I'm going to get spoiled.
yeah, me too. And
Yeah.
it won't be I don't think it'll be tub time. I think I'll watch it before.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well.
do have to cut the grass today.
Okay. Okay.
So,
I have to do pottery tonight. That's about all I got.
ooh, lovely. Okay.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
I haven't. I didn't go last week because I was not well. So I
I
was not well
understand.
after our time in New York. I was way too tired to go to pottery.
Yeah, that was quite the day I had when I got back, and I
Mm-hmm.
just needed to like get the New York funk off of me, as they
Mm-hmm.
say.
Mm-hmm.
And bathe 17 times because I was in the Port Authority for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys. So we were having a conversation off air that I thought would be interesting to have quickly on air, which
Mhm.
is this episode was my least favorite so far.
Mhm.
Also, I'm covering, so we are recording a little bit ahead on Real Housewives because we're going to
Mhm.
have some guests.
Yep.
And I just did episode 12, which we'll record after this. And I felt a similar energy in the 2 episodes, and I realized that what I hate is when people are screaming at each other.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
confrontation. I don't like confrontation in real life.
No, and I'm going to explain to you why this is so triggering for you.
Oh, okay.
You grew up in a very quiet house, as you said, the
Mhm.
library
The
house.
library. Mhm.
Nobody fought. Your parents
Nope.
never fought. We
Nope.
were not screaming.
We were not allowed to make noise.
I
Nothing.
imagine the most noise came between you and Jenny fighting, and even then, you weren't allowed to make a lot of noise.
Probably.
Probably. Then you leave your home and you get married, and you're in a very volatile marriage, and you
Oh, yeah.
fight all the time,
All the time. Screaming all the
screaming.
time.
So you never want that again. So
No.
anytime you see that, it
Mm-mm.
brings you back to that space, and you don't like it.
Yeah, I think you're
That'll
right.
be $150, please. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
No,
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely correct.
Mhm. I don't like it either. I don't like screaming at all.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
Triggers me. It
And
makes me very anxious.
so then I was thinking, because I was doing a little self-reflecting about
Mhm.
this. And I was like, so why then was I so into the Janelle and Cody fight? Why
Mm,
was I so into the Florian, Stacy,
mm.
Darcy drink throwing Jasmine fight? And I think it's because A, they were very short,
Yes.
and B, it was like, it was 2 or 3 minutes and it was over. And then you got to dissect what was going on. Whereas with these fights, they just go on and on and on, and they're circular arguments. I've lost the thread of what has even happened. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. It's just, I don't like watching it. And when Housewives for me, I'll talk more about this when we record that, but is
Mhm.
most compelling when we're not doing this stupid fighting.
I agree.
And so
Also,
is this show.
yes, I agree. Also, the Janelle and Cody fight didn't upset you because it was the culmination of years of wanting her to finally call him on his shit.
It's true. She was
So
standing up for
she was
herself.
standing up for herself.
Yeah.
So it felt very satisfying.
Yeah.
Even though we don't like yelling, it was still
Yeah.
satisfying to
Yeah.
finally have that moment of her going, no, no,
Yeah, that's
we're done.
true. That's true. Yeah.
Same as Stacey and Florian, a little less so. But they're just so ridiculous. They're so Muppet-like, and he's a vampire, and it's just kind of funny because
And
it's so
again, it was quick. It
ridiculous.
didn't go on for 6 episodes. Like,
Right.
the housewives fight, I've lost the thread, honestly. I don't even know who did what to whom.
I don't really know either,
Yeah.
other than Jen Shah thinks everyone ruined her life.
Yeah, it's and so I'm gonna have some unpopular opinions in this episode about our girl Taylor because she showed her ass.
She acted a fool at this party, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you wanna start us
I
off?
can get a
Okay.
Startus.
Start up that engine. Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Apparently, I need to. I had bacon for breakfast, so I should be
Ooh,
really going, but
look
I'm
at
not at the moment.
you.
We are Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Season 2, Episode 3, Book of Retribution.
We are just kicking these out.
We are. People are pumped about this. Super pumped. So
Oh,
we're
wait,
s oh,
before we start, can I just make one quick announcement that I
yeah,
wanna make upfront?
yeah.
Murder, She Watched has a new episode that we dropped.
Yes,
It's Southern Fried Lies on Peacock. Becca and I recorded it yesterday. I dropped it last night. If you guys can you please go over and just give me a little listen on the free feed so
that would
that
be
I
great.
can get a little love going over there.
That would be fantastic.
Again, it's Murder, She Watched.
Yes, it is Murder, She Watched. Also, our, lawn mowing people are here, so if
Okay.
y'all hear a cat yelling, it's just Leo defending the home
Okay, well,
against the
you
evil
have to.
the
Yes.
evil lawnmowers. So, we are still back at the party.
Mm.
Taylor's yelling at Dakota, Dakota's yelling at Taylor, Taylor's yelling at Chase, Chase is yelling at Taylor, and Dakota there's so much yelling.
It's so uninteresting.
It's really uninteresting, and I can't keep track of who anybody what we're yelling about
I
anymore.
don't know.
It's all about this stupid swinging thing, which
It's so
finally at the end of
stupid.
this, we get to some sort of resolution on,
Yeah, which I have thoughts on.
finally. So, Chase and Taylor still going at it. Kate is embarrassed.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, upstairs, we're preparing for our Chippendales dance thing, and Jordan wonders, "Why aren't the women up here oiling us up?" And I think that's a valid question.
And one of them is like, "Well, I think Taylor's down there screaming."
Yeah, exactly. These men know who these people are.
No, yeah.
So, Macy now tries to get in on this and tries to de-escalate the whole thing, and
I
Taylor
like Macy more and more and
I like
more.
Macy too. Macy and
And I
Mikayla are
like
my favorites.
Miranda
Miranda's okay.
so far. I mean, I have not
Okay.
seen beyond this episode, but so
Yeah,
far I like her.
it's nothing ever bad happens with her. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't find her particularly interesting, but I do like
I
Macy and I do like Mikayla.
I like Mikayla a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll talk a lot about her at the
Yeah.
end. And so, again, we're just yelling at each other about having each other's backs and about lying and about protecting each other and standing up for each
So dumb.
other. Jessie says now she may regret this guest list. No, you don't.
You think so, asshole?
No, she actually doesn't because she loves this.
Oh god, I was
She
so
loves this drama.
she is an asshole this episode and so is Demi.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
Amy, it just I feel like this is where it really, like, digs in and it just goes we're going up the little, like, mountain.
Mhm. Mhm. Ooh, like
Like
the
the Yodel
climber
Mountain.
in the Price is Right game,
Mhm.
the
Up
ice
Yodel Mountain.
climber.
Mhm. Yep.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's exactly what
Mhm.
these 2 girls are doing, and they're really good at it. Now we've got Layla and Chase yelling at each other, and Layla's like, "We dated for a month, and I just see the toxicity in him, and he's a clout chaser. It's even in his name. Clout chaser." I'm like, "You're really
Wow.
clever over there,
Wow.
Layla. Congratulations."
You worked hard on that one.
You know she workshopped that with someone for, like, 4 days.
Yeah.
Dakota just wants to know the truth about the swinging thing. Dakota, why do you care? It's in the past. It happened before you got here. You okay. And we're going back and forth, and a lot of people are screaming, "Let's just talk about what you've done."
Yeah,
This is like when my upstairs neighbors, when Charlie and I lived together, had the big fight, and she yelled, "You fucked a fucking freaky slut," and
Oh,
he yelled back, "Well, what about you?" And she said, What I did is not the same as what you did. So who knows what anybody did?"
okay. Alright.
It feels very much like that.
Yeah.
We also called the cops on them after that.
Mhm.
Miranda's telling Chase to leave, but she's still got the lobster claws on.
Oh, it's so great.
So I really struggle
So
to take
great.
Miranda seriously through a
Yes.
lot of crab, lobster, whatever's happening,
At one
but she's
point,
got these
Taylor's like,
goddamn
"Just
claws
take
on.
the claws off."
I know. I'm glad she kept them on though as long as she did
Mhm.
because it made it
Mhm.
really entertaining. Dakota tries to leave. Miranda tells Chase to go make up. Again, the claws. Taylor follows Dakota out screaming, "We have a child together!"
Taylor was a real problem.
Taylor did not do well this evening.
I was when all was said and done
Mhm.
and the cops came and everything, I was like, "Oh my god, I just realized all these people are sober."
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
A
Like,
couple of them might be drinking, but most of them don't drink.
I expect this from drunken parties,
Right.
but wow.
No,
Okay.
these kids for the most
Like,
part are sober.
Taylor's pretty sober.
Yeah, oh, I think she's totally sober. Um, but she
Okay.
feels left alone and unsupported, and Chase just kinda stands there looking dumb because I
Mhm.
think Chase just looks dumb.
Chase is an idiot.
He is an idiot person. Demi now goats Chase about Kate leaving and crying, and that's what we should do. Like, these girls are just all going after each other, and it's stupid. Chase now somehow goes to walk out and touches Demi.
Okay, so here's what happened. She was saying, "Your girlfriend left. Da, 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 da. Don't you give a shit about your girlfriend?" And as he's walking by, he goes, "What about your husband?" Or like,
Mm,
"Where's your husband?"
right.
And like just brushed her.
Yes.
Barely touched her. He
I
did
think
not
at
lay
most he,
hands
like
on her.
I think at most he, like, poked her, like, in the back with his finger. At
Oh, if he did that,
most.
I would be really angry. That would set me off.
I wouldn't,
Somebody poking me in that way?
I
No. Mm-mm.
at this point, I'd just be like, "I'm glad he's leaving. Let's just be done with this. I'm
But
certainly not
he
gonna
but
go running
he's
to my husband."
but he's trying to rewrite the narrative like, "Oh, I was just saying, where's Brett?" No, you weren't.
No, you weren't. No,
No,
you
you
weren't.
weren't. You were like,
Mm-mm.
"Where's your husband?" Slut,
Right. Right.
basically. Yeah.
Basically. And she goes running to tell Brett to tell on Chase, telling Brett that Chase put hands on her, and now she thinks Brett is going to kill Chase in the front yard
In a Chippendales
in a
uniform.
Chippendales costume. He goes running out, and you hear someone go, "Why doesn't he have a shirt on?" Because they have no idea about this Chippendale situation.
That added some humor to this.
Meanwhile, Jen is me. I am Jen. She runs out to see what all the drama is because she's going to watch this all
Yes.
come down. So I like that.
Yes. Yes.
Now, all of the women are outside except for Miranda and her crab claws, and she's
Mhm.
surprised at how upset Demi got by all of this. Taylor now begins calling Chase a psychopath and says
Mhm.
he's standing there just acting psycho. And okay, I'm not a Chase fan, but he's literally just standing there.
He's not doing anything.
He's he might be yelling a
No.
little bit at Brett, but I feel like there's a lot of steps between where Chase is and psycho.
See, I feel like he backed way down the
Oh,
minute
he
Brett
did.
got in his face.
He sure did because I
Yeah.
think Brett could kill him.
Yes.
Demi fears for Chase's life, but she's turned on by her man.
I mean, I felt seen in that moment. Because
This
you can hold 2 things, right?
You
You can be
can hold 2 things
horrified by this,
and turned
but
on.
also kinda turned on.
Right.
Because Timmy would not, go crazy unless I asked him to.
I don't think Todd would even go crazy if I asked him to.
If I went in and said and I was upset,
Yeah.
and I said to Timmy, "Somebody just laid hands on me,"
Yes, yes. Todd would go
he
kill him.
would go bananas.
Yeah, yeah. Todd would too.
But if I said somebody just said something smart to me and gave me a little poke,
Yeah.
he'd be like, "Okay, can
Okay,
we
well,
be
then
over
go
this?"
deal with it.
Yes.
Go deal with it.
Although I have a feeling like if I had enough drinks in me and this has happened before, I would go off.
Oh, yeah.
You should be scared of me.
Yes. And your little T-Rex arms going after somebody. All someone has to do is put their hand on your
Mhm.
forehead.
Mhm. And I would be rendered useless.
Yeah, because you can't
Mhm.
get to them.
Yeah.
Taylor, again, calling him a psychopath. Demi fears for Chase's life. Brett demands that Chase apologize. And now Jordan starts screaming in his face to take ownership.
Yeah, Jordan,
Jordan,
no.
Jordan,
Jordan came
stop.
in at an 11.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
And this required
Mm-mm.
a 4.
Yeah.
Calm down. Jesse says she invited Chase to get to the bottom of the swinging scandal, but now it's still a dot, dot, dot. No,
Fuck right
Jesse.
off, Jesse.
You invited Chase to create drama.
Mhm.
Mission
And here you go.
accomplished.
You did it.
Good job. Miranda cries, hugs Taylor with her claws. And Kate and Miranda clearly have a good relationship,
Yeah,
which
they
is
do.
really good.
They do.
And Miranda's just like, if this fucks up my co-parenting with Chase, I'm going to be really livid because
Yeah.
that's the most important thing to her, which
Yeah.
she's correct.
So I need to take a minute here to talk about our girl, Taylor Frankie Paul.
Okay.
And this is going to be an unpopular opinion.
Okay.
She created all of this.
Yes.
Why did she go public with the swinging scandal? Do
I
we
don't
know?
I think what happened is in one of those like Sinner Sundays, somebody said this is going on and that
Mm.
lit it up. And eventually Taylor being sometimes unapologetically authentic was like, yeah, it happened.
See,
I
I
think
think
that's how it went down.
and I think this is such a shitty thing to do
Oh, I agree.
because a lot of these people, like Miranda gets to this a little bit later, but a lot of these people are deep in the church.
Yes.
They have children. They have like it was not her business to out this.
Mhm.
And that
No,
is
I
the
agree.
original sin here.
Yeah. No one should ever have been talking about this. This should
Right.
have been Fight Club.
But that's the original sin
Yes.
that all of this can be traced back to.
Yes.
Is Taylor couldn't keep her fucking mouth shut.
Or someone couldn't
Period.
keep their fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, but
And then Taylor felt like she had to
even if
defend
somebody
herself.
said it in a secret thing, like, whatever, okay.
But it's secret, like, posted on Instagram kinda secret. Like, "What's your secret?" Like, you know how
Right,
Ace does
right.
that and
Yeah,
then it,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
gets posted? I think that was it. I
She
think.
coulda denied it.
She could've, but,
Yeah.
who knows? I'll do some digging to see if we can figure out how this all broke out.
Okay.
Jesse now says they haven't even lived in this neighborhood for 2 months, and this is their first party, and she's pretty embarrassed and afraid they're gonna get kicked out of the neighborhood.
Yeah, because the cops show up and
Yeah,
they're like, "What the fuck?"
exactly. Jesse just is talking the popo down. We were just arguing. Everyone who was involved has left.
Mhm.
She's like, "Are people leaving together?" She's like, "No, it's just like exes fighting. Nobody who was
She
fighting went
goes,
home
"Did
together."
you see the secret lives
I
of
said,
Mormon
"Mormon wives," and
wives?"
he's like, "No." She's like, "Okay, that would have explained a lot, but okay." And now we see Zach and Jen in a corner, and he's mansplaining to her what's going on.
Mhm.
And now it's time to reset the intention of the night. Debbie isn't sure the Chippendales thing is a good idea now, but the show must go on.
It's
What
not
else
a
are we
good
going to
idea.
do? It's not a good idea, girl. It never was a good idea,
Mm-mm.
and now it's really not a good idea.
This enraged me on so many levels.
This was so cruel to do.
Yes. Yes.
So they put Jen in the guest of honor chair. Zach is not even simmering rage.
Mm-mm.
He looks like he wants to murder somebody in their face
And
repeatedly.
I never thought I'd say this, but I don't blame him.
I would be really pissed as him too.
There is a difference between Jen being, part of a group that goes to this thing and she didn't know what was happening and we
Mhm.
saw her. She didn't really engage with them,
Yep.
whatever. Yeah. There's a difference between that and your friends
Throwing it in your
hiring
face
somebody to give her a lap dance.
and to shove it in your
Yeah.
face.
There's a big difference between those
Yeah,
two things.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Um, and he looks at her and just says, "I trust you." That bothered me because
Of
what do you have to
course.
trust her about?
Yeah.
She's sitting there.
Yeah.
And even let's say she did touch him. That doesn't mean she's untrustworthy. Like
Right. But
it's
again, they shouldn't be in this situation.
no. Demi says this is the moment for Zach to redeem himself. Jen gives the cut sign as this is happening, points to Zach, and now we just have a silly routine while everyone watches. Mikayla says it is the most embarrassing thing ever that she's ever seen.
Could you imagine, like, you go through the worst night or weekend of your marriage over
Mhm.
something, and then your friends do this?
I would be so hurt. These
Not
aren't
only
friends,
that
that's
not
why.
only that, you and I have talked about this off air, like, if they believe this guy is dangerous,
They're
they
putting her in
just
danger.
put her in fucking jeopardy.
Mhm. Every time they incite him, they are putting her in danger,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
keep doing it.
Yeah. This is fucked up.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. Um, Jen doesn't even know whether to have fun because it's making Zach uncomfortable, and now she's questioning Demi and Jesse's intentions, which you should because 'cause they're not your friends, girl.
No, they're not.
It's like the one thing I agree with Zach about is
I do
these are not
too.
good friends of yours,
I
but he's
I'm
also trying
gonna
to isolate her.
I'm also gonna say I agreed with a lot of what Zach said this episode. That does not mean I think Zach is a good person in any way. He is
Mhm,
still a nightmare, and I think he's abusive.
mhm.
But what he said about Jesse and Demi, I completely agreed.
The problem is he's lumping Demi and Jesse in with everyone else and
Yeah,
vilifying all of them,
yeah, yep.
and that's the problem.
He's making Zach actually knows marketing and is making Mom Talk a unit
Yes,
and is saying,
the
they're
unit is
the
bad.
unit is bad. Yeah.
Brett hugs Zach and says, "Oh, it was just exposure therapy," and Zach is about to go on a murder spree throughout this
Yeah.
entire house.
And I don't blame him. Again, I
No,
would be furious if somebody did this to me.
I would too. The girls now rehash the fight. Taylor just cares that Dakota doesn't have her back and believes I don't care about this anymore.
Mm-mm.
I don't care about this fight.
We're over it.
Zach and Jen leaves, and he says he'll be a good sport, and she says, We'll never go through that again. She seems
Yeah.
terrified. She
Yeah.
seems terrified anytime she's alone with him.
Yeah.
So now it's Halloween night. Mikayla and her family are going trick or treating. And she says there's a lot of mom talk drama right now. So she's actually just happy to spend the night with her sisters and her
Mhm.
kids and just
Mhm.
have a good time in their little neighborhood. This Her family's super cute. They're all dressed up like the Wizard of Oz.
Mhm.
She's
Very cute.
Dorothy. She's adorable. She says holidays are really important to her and they prioritize with her sisters and her family getting all the kids together, playing. It's great.
Mhm.
Her sister came as both her and Whitney, and it's cute and funny.
Now, before we get into the serious stuff around Michaela, did you
Yeah.
have eyes on that little wicked witch?
Yes.
Because she was stuffing every snack she could find into her face, and I was like, "That's a little Amy Archer right there."
Yeah.
She is watching these adults gossip. She is mesmerized by them,
Right, and she's
and
just
she's
calm,
just
calm.
shoving junk food into her mouth.
It's super cute. I like Michaela. I like her
I do
family.
too.
I like Jace. Like, he seems like a
Mhm.
really good
I like him
guy.
too. I like him too.
Um, and so even her sister's wearing the stupid Whitney
It
headband,
was
like, it
perfect.
was
It was
great.
great.
So Michaela tells her sister about the happy hour at Miranda's, and she only went to tell her how she felt, but she's like, I might have been a little too harsh. And so now we start talking about their family dynamics.
She wasn't too harsh, by the way,
No,
when they
she
showed
wasn't.
that she was,
No.
totally appropriate,
But for someone who was raised to keep sweet
and someone who's 24.
and someone who's 24
Yeah.
and has a lot of anger and hasn't
Yeah.
dealt with any of it,
Yep.
she says she talks that anytime they expressed feelings in her family, it was just anger. That's
Yeah.
how they grew up. And Michaela says she is in her protect her peace era. And I say, same girl. I'm really
Yeah.
trying to do that myself. And now she starts talking about these autoimmune issues she's been having, and she's been trying to figure it out. And it basically sort of it looks like she just winds up with like these horrible like hives all over her body, sort of.
It's very yeah, it's
It
very
looks
intense.
it's very intense. It's very red. It looks very painful. I went through a period where I was like it was when I was ending my first marriage or getting really
Yeah.
close to it. I was covered in hives and it was
Hmm.
awful. It was
Hmm.
really weird. Like, and one
Yeah.
time I had to fly and I was afraid they weren't going to let me on the flight because my arms were just like bright red and puffy and gross. And ugh, it was so
Sometimes your
uncomfortable.
body just knows,
Your body
you know?
knows. Your
Yeah.
body totally knows. When I was unhappy in my second marriage, I got shingles.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
like my
Mhm.
body, I think, just like freaks out. Who
Mhm.
knows what'll happen now? It'll be great. So she's been trying to figure this out. She has these rashes, and she says, I've been working on finding my voice and expressing my feelings. And the more I do that, the better it's been for my skin.
Yeah.
So she's really starting to realize this mind body connection piece. And she says she doesn't know how to validate other people's feelings. She just knows how to attack people because that's how she was raised.
Mhm.
Her sisters are wonderful. They're
Yeah.
like, of course, this makes total sense, particularly given the trauma you went through. So now we learn trigger warning for childhood sexual abuse. Michaela shares that she was sexually abused for 4 to 5 years. And when it started, she was so young, she didn't even really understand what was happening.
Yeah.
At 15, on Halloween, she finally told her mom, and her mom didn't believe her.
Wow.
And that's when she stopped dealing with her emotions and stopped talking and telling her story because no one would believe her and she just felt silenced. And my heart fucking broke for her.
Believe your fucking kids.
Right.
What is wrong with people?
This goes back to our conversation yesterday. The number one job of a parent is to be the safe place for your kid.
Just be the safe place,
Yeah,
period. Keep that kid safe.
that's it. And this
Jesus
poor child
Christ.
has been
I
going
know.
through this.
I know.
And she said that was the turning point for her body and it just shut down any hard emotions. Of course it did. She
And
stopped feeling.
oftentimes when you see a mother not believe a kid,
Mhm.
it's because the mother has a vested interest in who this person is.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if it was a stepfather
I don't
or
know.
somebody, kind of related to the mother or in the church.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Oh, yeah.
usually if it's like just Joe Schmo down the street and the mother's not connected,
Mhm.
usually that's I don't know. In my experience, what I've seen is
Yeah. I
usually the
agree.
mother has some kind of vested
There's some
interest in.
reason for her to doubt this or
Yes.
feel it's better to not believe this than to
Yes.
believe it.
Yes.
And Michaela says finding the people she can trust and will listen is just the most important thing. And as she's talking about this, Jace is just rubbing her back,
I
being
was just gonna say
so
that.
supportive and
Yep.
wonderful, not getting in her way. giving her space to
Uh-huh.
speak, but you could also tell she felt very supported.
And at this time, one of the kids, I don't
Mhm,
know which one, I couldn't tell who he was dressed as, is, like, screaming for her on the stairs,
mhm,
and Jace did the right thing by, like, not walking away from her
mhm.
and just kind of staying with her while she finished the story, and then he went and dealt with the kid.
Kid, yeah. Yeah, they seem like a good team.
Yeah, I really like him.
I do too.
Yeah, he's a little cutie.
Yeah, he's a cutie. And she says, "I have a deep wound of hurt and having to relive it, and I may have to relive it, but maybe it's time for therapy and just to finally heal from all of
Yeah.
this."
Wow, how brave of her.
I know. And then we see Jen and Zach going for a walk and
Ugh.
talk about the party
Okay,
and
who dresses up like that to go walk? They're, like, dressed up.
I know. I know. They always even when these girls are walking around in sweats, they look nicer than I look like on my wedding day.
Like, when you catch me and Timmy, like, taking a walk,
Right.
we don't look like this.
No. You're also not doing it on TV.
That's true.
Yeah. Maybe if you were on TV, you might zhuzh it up a little bit.
Maybe.
Probably not.
No.
So, um, they're talking about the party, the Chippendales thing, and Zach is like, "This was done at our expense, and clearly your friends don't have good intentions."
Mm,
He talks about talking to Demi and Jesse about their issues, and then 4 days later, they do this to them with 100 friends they don't know. Okay, first of all, there were not 100 people there, honey.
no.
Not even close. And now they're the comedy act for the whole team. Now, Zach, I think you're going a little far here.
He's going a little far, but he is right
They were
that
in the wrong to do this.
they mocked them
Yes.
in front of everybody.
Yes, they were
Yes.
wrong to do this.
Yes.
That doesn't also mean that Zach isn't fucking terrifying right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And he asks Jen if she was asked, and she's like, No, but I mean, I heard them bringing it up jokingly, but I didn't think they were serious." And we see a flashback of Jen saying it would be funny and didn't think Zach would be this upset.
Jen has a little bit of, and I blame this on her age.
Mm-hmm.
Jen has a little bit of, like, cool girl wants,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when she's with the group, you
Yes.
can tell that she does, like, even when she was getting the lap dance, she was trying to play it off and be the cool girl, but,
Mm-hmm.
like, if that fast forward 20 years, if a 44-year-old Jen Affleck's sitting there,
Yeah.
she's gonna be like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?"
This is stupid. Please
Yeah,
stop.
but,
I'm
like,
not into
she
this.
can't advocate for herself yet, either
She
either with Zach or the friend group.
she's a go along to get along, and she's
Yes.
telling people all the time what she thinks they want to hear to
Yes.
keep the peace.
Yes.
And I get why she's doing it with Zach because I think he is horrible to her a lot.
Yeah. And I think a large part of it, and we go back to this a few times, but a large part of it is she comes from a much lower socioeconomic background than these
Mhm.
people. And I think there's a part of her that feels like I want entry into this world.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna go along to get along to be in this world.
Yeah.
And she's not, I'm not saying that to disparage her. Like, she's not doing anything another 24-year-old wouldn't do.
No. No, she's not.
But I think a lot of that might be where it comes from.
Mhm. Mhm. And he says that they are shitty friends and real friends wouldn't do that. I'm gonna give you that Jesse and Demi are shitty friends.
Yeah.
It's the lopping everybody else together that I think's a problem
Yeah.
because he's really just trying to isolate her.
Yeah.
To the point that he says, "I don't wanna know if I wanna raise my kids in that toxic environment." So now he's
Mhm.
playing the kids card
Mhm.
to even manipulate her more.
The kids'
The
card.
kids' card. And she wishes that after the party, he didn't put his frustration at Demi and Jesse onto her.
She says this several times.
I want you to admit that you put your frustration onto me.
What
I
does
think
that
his
mean,
frustration
Amanda?
means his screaming at her.
Or hands?
More hands.
It means something darker than what she's making it seem.
Yes, she's just saying frustration as a code word for something dark.
And she's very adamant about this being on camera.
Yes. Yes. I
Yeah,
don't think she wants to have any hard conversations with him, not on camera.
I agree.
I think that's why in the end she does the pregnancy thing with him on camera as well.
Yeah.
She just wants him to acknowledge what he does to her. And he feels
Mhm.
like he has to stick up for their family, and it makes him the bad guy because she isn't doing it. And if it was his friends, he wouldn't put up with this.
Yeah.
Oh God, this guy really triggers the shit out of me.
I don't like them.
Mm-mm. And she's trying to get him to listen to her. He just keeps arguing, saying they aren't her friends, they aren't good friends. And she brings him to these parties and puts him in she puts him in these situations so that he then has to be the bad guy.
Mhm.
He has no responsibility for his behavior whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's her putting him there. It's her fault. He has to be frustrated with her. It's her fault. He has to whatever bad thing he has to do is her fault because clearly he's just innocent.
Again, if Jesse and Demi, if their intentions were pure, which I don't think they were,
No.
and they wanted to make sure Zach had, quote, learned his lesson from the Vegas thing,
Mhm.
then you just take her out. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just go out to a bar one night
Mhm.
and see if he's okay with that. Like,
Yeah.
you don't this was very trolly,
It
and
was.
it
It was
put her
terrible.
in danger. And
Agreed.
whatever happened that night in that house was number 1, Zach's fault, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But number 2, Jesse and Demi's
Because they
fault.
lit the fire under him.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
he is a simmering powder keg at all times.
If I thought for 1 second that your boyfriend or husband was physically abusive with you,
Mhm.
there's no way on earth I would say something to antagonize him to
Of
create
course
that
not.
situation. They
Of
are
course not.
terrible friends.
They are. They
Mhm.
are shit stirrers. They just want drama.
Yep.
She says he needs to own up to how he treats her after these situations that are out of her control.
Mhm.
Amy, what the fuck is this guy doing to her? He walks off and says he wants to cut the camera. And she's like, no, I don't want to cut the camera. I want to have this conversation now on camera. And he
Mhm.
says he isn't getting this twisted on him again.
Yeah.
He says in a talking head, he's been doing so much work and Jen is so pure hearted. And he feels like I don't want to say anything bad about Jen.
Yeah.
Oh, how brave. You
Mhm.
fucking manipulative asshole.
So then what does he do, Amanda? If he feels like he's losing her, what does he do? He gets her pregnant.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
He
And
probably I have no doubt in my mind he probably talked her into that.
oh, probably.
Yep.
Probably. And he says she's only moving forward in this marriage if he takes accountability.
Mm. Good luck,
Okay,
honey.
sure. Now it's time for Whitney to have the baby.
Yeah, that was cute.
It was cute. Her water broke. They're off. She heard that there was drama, but she doesn't have time for that because she's got to go birth a baby now.
I would love to have another baby.
Do you want to have more teenagers?
No,
No, that's the
no.
problem.
That's why I think I'm moving into my grandma stage. In 10
Okay.
years, if I get a little baby, little grandchild,
You'd be happy.
I'd be happy with that.
Okay.
In 10, 15
10.
years from now.
Yes. At a
Yes.
minimum 10.
Yes.
At a
Yes.
minimum
Yes.
10.
Yes.
Connor gives this speech appreciating her for having his baby. And
Mhm.
she says that having a baby is the closest she feels to heaven. It's her calling. And she and Connor went through so much and worked so hard for this relationship that she has today. We find out
Fine.
it's the boy. Who's recording all of this? Because it's saying Whitney's home video. Who's doing the recording? Because
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. There's like angles
Maybe
of
her mom or a sister or something.
somebody's in there, but I'm like,
Yeah.
who's recording this?
Do they
Because we
name
got
the
some wide
baby
angle.
Connor?
No, it's Billy, baby Billy.
Baby Billy Bobble Bonkers.
Baby Billy.
Okay. Uncle Baby
Baby Billy.
Billy. Oh, I didn't know there was an Uncle Baby Billy here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So now it's time for a pumpkin patch. Jen
Mm.
isn't here. Jesse's thrilled about that. We see them all on one of the jankiest looking Ferris wheels I've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
Amy
and
Archer's not getting on that Ferris wheel.
no, I would never go on that Ferris wheel.
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Did we catch who was the kid? Jagger. Jagger needs his own handler.
Jagger's a
Okay?
problem.
Jagger is a fucking problem. That kid is running around like, I don't know,
Put shit in
slashing
its
tires
mouth.
and shit. Who knows?
Eating stuff, making other people eat stuff. I swear
I'm
the
like,
entire time Jesse's like, Jagger, Jagger,
I know.
Jagger.
Jagger is wild.
Jagger's a problem, and
Mhm.
Jagger could really use a nanny, I think.
Yes.
So now it's gossip time.
Mm.
Miranda has to win these girls over, and she feels like Jen could be an ally because no one will understand what it's like to have your marriage so scrutinized in the way that
Yeah.
Miranda's was. Miranda also said Jen feels really alone, and she doesn't want to upset Zach or them.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse calls Jen a liar. So now we've got everyone saying Jen is a liar and Jen is a problem. So no one believes anything Jen is saying, which is Zach's whole goal.
Again, these are very young women
Mm-hmm.
who are still very far from the give a fuck bridge.
Yep.
And so they don't understand just how dire this situation is.
No, they
and they
don't.
don't see what's happening.
No, they don't.
They're still playing high school games of this boyfriend said this about his girlfriend and,
Uh-huh.
whatever.
I wonder if, like, Jen and or Jesse and Demi, if they see this season and see how people are talking about this, if they have any regrets about how they treated Jen.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting to see. Layla says she also isn't Jen's biggest fan because of what she did to Demi. Layla, what did
What
she
did
do to
she do to
Demi?
Demi?
Layla knows nothing happened with Demi and the guys, but Jen judged her for being flirty
Oh,
and
the
now was
Vanderpump
trying to
Villa.
blackmail him. So now we're at the
Mhm,
Vanderpump Villa situation,
mhm.
a show we really loved here at Little Miss Recap. Um, Demi, I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
I might
De-
have to watch the episodes these guys were
I
on
know. I think we might have
to
to.
see it.
Demi says there was a disconnect between what everyone was saying versus what's going on with Zach. And Jen
Mhm.
feels isolated and attacked. When Jen feels isolated and attacked, she throws daggers. And they agree. She's just, her motives aren't good. No, guys, she's fighting for her fucking life over there.
Yeah, I don't see it that way at all.
I
I
don't
don't
either.
experience her that way at all.
Me neither. Me neither. So now we have a sit down between Taylor and Miranda.
This was interesting.
It was very interesting. They were BFFs for years. They would talk on the phone for 2 hours a day. They
Mhm.
saw each other multiple times a week, and now it ended overnight. And if Miranda's going to come back, she's going to need to be open and honest. And Taylor says everything she has said is true, and she just wants to move on. Taylor says she still has a lot of animosity because their stories are just still different.
Okay, so this is where Taylor really loses me.
Mm-hmm.
Because why it's one thing that you outed all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say, for example, let's elevate this a little bit
Okay.
and say, for example, these folks were practicing ethical non monogamy.
Okay.
She essentially outed them.
Yes.
Okay. Now she is doubling down on forcing them on camera
Mm-hmm.
to admit what happened.
Because she thinks it's going to make her look less slutty. Because I
It,
think right now she feels like everyone knows what she did
mhm.
and no one knows what anyone else did. So she looks like the whore. This comes back to all the shame her family was
It
throwing on
just
her.
pisses me off. It's like, here's Miranda basically saying, like, I have kids. I
Right.
belong to a church. I
I
have
don't want to talk about this.
I don't want to talk about it on camera.
Yeah. Yeah. And I understand why Taylor thinks if everyone will admit to what happened, then she will be absolved. She
Mhm.
won't
She
because
won't.
the shame comes from within her.
Yes. It's just
But
so like, ugh.
it's hard to watch.
Mhm.
It's really hard to watch. Miranda doesn't think she deserves to be lied to, and she's embarrassed, and she would have done it all differently if she could. And she really feared how people would react and perceive her.
Mhm.
And she wishes she'd been more honest from the start, but she has a reputation as a Mormon to uphold and wants to clear the air and just move on.
Okay.
So after this conversation, Taylor's heart grew 3 sizes that day. And they both apologized and they seem to be on a path towards reconciliation.
Agreed. Agreed.
Taylor says she feels like a different person than that old version of herself. And now she is in this deep, sad shame spiral, which is
Mhm.
fucking heartbreaking.
She regrets doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And she should.
Mm-hmm.
But
She
okay, like, forgive yourself and move on.
She regrets having the threesomes or the
Mhm.
whatever. She regrets
Mhm.
talking. She regrets everything.
Yep.
And she breaks down talking about how horrible and selfish she was.
Mhm.
And I was a good person until I did that. Honey, you're a good person regardless of whether you did that or not. This does
What
not
you
make you
did
a
was
bad person.
shitty.
You had bad behavior. That doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Right, but you gotta forgive yourself and you gotta move on.
She does. She does. And until the time, then everything fell apart. And the more that they did it, I'm guessing her and her ex husband, the weaker she got. And she doesn't know how she could do that to her ex and to Miranda.
But I think here's what bothers me. I think out of one side of her mouth, she's saying, I did this horrible thing. I hate that whatever. And now the other side of her mouth, she's like, but tell the camera, Miranda, look in the camera and tell them what
Hmm.
you did.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'd have more respect for her if she was like, look, this all was awful.
Hmm.
You know what happened. I know what happened. Let's agree to just bury it
And be done.
and be done.
Yeah. Except everyone else wants to. There's too many people are in too many people's business over here.
Yeah, I agree.
Miranda tells her if she hadn't been that person, she wouldn't be who she is now. And Miranda tells her to give herself some grace. And Taylor says she isn't sure she's ready to be full BFFs again, but time will tell. But poor Taylor can't give herself any grace. And it's really
Mm-mm.
sad.
Mm-hmm.
So now we see Mikayla go to her therapy session.
Yeah.
This was so compelling.
Yeah.
And her therapist wants her to revisit her trauma. So she's back at being 14. and she wants Mikayla to take her power back and say everything to her abuser that she wanted to say then to the
Okay,
therapist.
I wanna say something.
Yes.
So, when I was sexually assaulted,
Mhm.
I went to a therapist. My
Mhm.
mother and father found a therapist. She was an older woman,
Mhm.
and she did this thing where she had me, like, hold a pillow and yell at it and
Mhm.
hit the pillow or whatever. I felt it was not meeting me where I was.
Okay.
It was it wasn't helpful to me in a way.
Okay.
So I was fascinated to see Mikayla, who also felt I could tell there was uncomfortableness
Mhm.
there. I don't know if this method is great.
I think it's better for Mikayla than it was for you because she's older and she's further away
Yeah, I
from
was
it.
like 14.
And the reason she's here, as she states, is to get her voice back. So the
Yeah.
therapist is trying to get her to articulate her anger in a safe container so she can process it and
Maybe
get
maybe
past it.
maybe what was bothering me is it felt like I could do that with my therapist now
Mhm.
because I've been going to her for 6 years.
Right.
Maybe what's rubbing me the wrong way about this is it feels like, and I'm sure it's not,
Mhm.
but they set it up to look like this was her returning to like her first time
Yeah.
or her, you know what I mean? And so like she felt uncomfortable and I felt that discomfort through
Mhm.
the screen.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe get into it a little bit more in a couple more sessions and then I don't know. I just had to say that.
Okay. That's totally
Okay.
fine.
All right.
And her therapist tells her she has a right to say her piece, to tell the therapist in place of this person who abused her that he took advantage of her, he hurt
Mhm.
her, she can stand up for herself.
Mhm.
And her therapist tries to get Mikayla to call her a motherfucker,
Mhm.
and she just can't do it. All she'll say is, "Amen. Amen. You're a
Yes.
motherfucker." It was
Yeah.
very funny. And just talking about it, she says, makes it feel a little lighter. And it isn't easy, but there's something freeing about expressing her truth. And she really wants to flip the script and break the cycle of this whole situation.
Mhm.
Now we back at Whitney's with
I
baby
just wanna
Billy.
say real quick, just
Yes.
putting a bow on
Bow
that.
on this. Yes.
It was really brave of her to show
It
that whole
was.
session on camera.
It really
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
I have a ton of respect for her. Um, I just really like her. I like her and
I
I
do
like
too.
Macy.
Now take me to Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers, which is
What is that from?
if you're not watching Righteous
Okay.
Gemstones, what's his name? Walton Goggins
Your
plays
boyfriend.
Baby Billy,
Okay, got it.
Uncle Baby Billy,
Uncle
and
Baby Billy.
he's always trying to sell this game show, Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. That's like
Okay.
a family feud with Bible
Bible.
quotes.
Oh God.
It's ridiculous.
So Whitney is with cute little baby Billy, who is a beautiful little baby.
Mhm, mhm.
Really, really
Yeah.
cute. Taylor comes over, Macy comes over, and Taylor says she isn't besties with Whitney, but she also doesn't have issues with her, so she's okay sitting with her.
I really hope that this show now we're only on episode 3.
Right.
I really hope this show doesn't go down the housewives path where all we're talking about is who's aligned with who and who's friends like, I hope it doesn't do that.
Okay.
Oh,
Uh,
no. That tells me it does.
it's not all it does. There's a lot of it, though. There's a
Okay.
lot of alliances and who's friends with who and who's
Okay.
betraying who, but
It's the least
there's not
interesting
a
part.
ton of screaming again.
Okay, good.
There's some fighting, but it's not as much as this episode.
Okay.
So we see back in the day Macy confronting Whitney, but she thinks Whitney regrets her behavior, and Jesus
Mhm.
tells us to forgive. So that's Macy's plan.
Okay.
Macy's a very good girl who wants to just be a good Mormon.
Yeah.
Whitney wants the breakdown of the Halloween party. She wants the hot goss because she couldn't be there because she was too busy birthing a baby.
Mhm.
And Taylor's like, the chaos started when Chase arrived. Dakota believed Chase. Chase didn't. The
Blah,
whole thing.
blah, 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 blah.
Taylor's biggest issue is just not being defended the way she thought she would be by her partner, to which I want to say you're not actually partners at the moment. You're broken up, but
Yeah.
okay. And this makes it harder for her to move forward. And she feels everything with Dakota is 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And I'm going to say, girl, it's actually 2 steps back, 1 step forward. Like,
Mhm.
this isn't
Mhm.
going anywhere.
The fact that when Taylor and Dakota fight, they scream, "I hate you"
Hmm.
at each other,
They have
there's no
contempt for each
coming
other.
back from that.
They have contempt for each other.
Yes,
And
there's
you,
no coming back from
mm-mm.
contempt.
Now, and now, after hearing all this, Whitney declares she wants back in mom talk.
Yes, she does.
Oh my God, this girl cracks me up. So now we see Jen driving, talking about feeling isolated, Like, she has no one to turn to, and it feels like Jesse and Demi are trying to sabotage her marriage because that's all Zach is feeding her. They're trying
Mhm.
to sabotage us. They're the enemy. They're
Well, I
trying to
think she
get us.
also witnessed
She
it.
witnessed it, but he is reinforcing this constantly.
Right, but what she has to realize is they're like, what she's probably feeling in her gut is
Mhm.
they're trying to sabotage her,
Right.
not her marriage. Like, Zach's turning it to be Zach is saying the right message, but he's using it for his own
Yes,
benefit.
he's using it to isolate her
Right, right,
and make her feel like she has nobody in the world
right.
but him.
But she probably feels very betrayed
Oh, by
by them.
everybody.
Yes.
By everybody.
Yeah, it broke my heart for
It
her.
did too. And
Mhm.
she says, if mom talk is about friendship, why are they doing this to her?
Yeah.
Especially if they knew everything she's gone through this year.
Mm.
She comes home and she's holding a pregnancy test. And the first time I saw this, I was like, fuck,
Yep.
this is the last thing you need, girl.
He orchestrated
The
this.
whole
I have
thing.
no doubt. Could she have been on birth control? Sure.
Yeah.
But that's I would assume against their religion, they don't really.
It's kind of it's definitely not encouraged.
Yeah.
It's not like my understanding is that it's not like Catholicism where it's like a hard and fast rule. They do some level of family planning, but
Yeah.
babies are the thing. You want babies, lots of
Yeah.
babies.
And I think he just talked her into letting him pump one in her, and
Mhm.
that's it. Now she's trapped.
And so
Well, she was already trapped, but
she's
she's further trapped.
she's further trapped because now she's gonna have 3 kids with this
And
asshole.
she's not, but she feels that way. Let's be
Mhm,
very clear. She's
mhm.
not. She could walk away tomorrow.
She makes all the money here.
Yeah.
She actually has the power here,
Yeah.
but doesn't realize it.
Correct. And she's
And
24. I'm only
and she's only
24.
24. She asks if he wants to come into the bathroom with her. She's like, "Wait, no, I mean, to look at the results." Like, I don't think she all of a sudden she's like, "I don't actually need you to sit there while I pee."
Mhm.
And she comes out and he like looks really happy and she bursts into
Yeah,
tears
she's not
before she
happy.
even looks at this test. She's like, "I'm supposed to be happy and I'm not and I'm scared." I'm like,
She is instantly regretting
"Mhm.
letting him come back that day
Mhm."
she let him in with the suitcase.
She says she's feeling depressed and anxious and her life is a bit a mess all over the place. She's super stressed to even think about being pregnant. She and Zach aren't in the best place right now, and this is the last thing she needs. Of course, she's pregnant.
And I'm assuming abortion is completely off
Oh,
the table here.
completely off the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
He's thrilled. She's sobbing.
Of course.
And she says in a talking head, she isn't the person she wants to be bringing in another child into the world. And she's sad for this child because she doesn't even know where her marriage is. So she thinks she's finally hit her breaking point.
Ugh,
My heart
poor
breaks
thing.
for this kid.
Yep.
So bad. Next time on,
Mm.
we have a mom talk sex party. Zach confronts the guys about the Chippendale sitch. Someone slept with Demi's husband while she was away. Jen has a breakdown, and we have a dinner confession time.
Okay.
So here we
All
go.
right. Okay, now I can watch it tonight.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
And you can take your notes and we'll record it tomorrow.
Probably.
Yes.
Although we have to do mailbag and real talk, so,
We do. We do.
yeah.
We got time. We'll get it all done.
Yeah. All right, guys. I hope you're enjoying these episodes. We're enjoying cranking them out for you.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
really are. I'm loving this show. Even though this episode was a little low,
Yeah.
I'm still loving the show.
There's 2 super compelling things in this episode, and I think it's the
Yes.
Mikayla story, and I
Yep.
think it's the Jen Zach
Yep. I
story.
agree. If you are interested in joining our Facebook group, we call our fans, our listeners, backdoor friends,
Mhm.
and that's where you will find one of the most supportive groups
The backdoor friends are amazing.
on Facebook. Hmm. And
Completely
we
agree.
have a lot of fun in there. We're almost 3,000 strong.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. So if you want to find like-minded ladies of a certain age, again, that's a genderless term.
Mhm.
Anybody can be a lady of a certain age.
Yep.
Pop on in. The link is in the show notes, and follow us on Instagram and leave us a 5-star review.
Yeah, and if you like this episode, text it to a friend who's also
Yeah.
into Secret Lives of Mormon Wives,
Yeah.
or slow-mo as we're calling it.
Slow-mo. And please check out Murder She Watched. Again, there's 4 or 5 episodes over there. A Body in the Snow. What did you and I do? A
W
Dangerous American Murder? No. Deadly Marriages.
Deadly American Marriage.
And
Ding
Southern
dong, there's a
Fried
murderer
Lies.
next door.
Listen, if you like solving murders from your
Just go
couch,
over
head
there.
over to Murder She
There'll be
Watched.
shows
That's where
there.
it's gonna be.
There
Yeah.
you go.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Amanda, thank you.
Amy, thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.